Hello, it's Aaliyah from Sally Mouth Soaps. How are you? It's been a minute. It's been about 12 months of minutes since my last video. So there's a few things I wanted to tackle today. Firstly is just to explain where I have been for the last 12 months and why I haven't posted any videos. And then secondly is to announce my very exciting project that I've been working on for a long time now, for like 6 to 12 months, which is a complete rebrand and a complete change of business name and look and feel and product lineup and all that kind of stuff. So I'll just tackle where I've been first, and then I'll put a link in the description below just with the timestamp so you can skip past this if you don't want to listen to it, which is totally fine. Basically, I could go into huge amounts of detail, which is probably of interest only to myself, so I won't put you through that. But about May last year, around about this time last year, so 12 months, we decided to buy another house. And we hadn't actually sold the house that we were in first. So that meant about 3 months of crazy preparation to get the house sold and a really long settlement period and all that kind of stuff. And I had to have my soap room packed up for about 3 months and the whole house packed up for about 3 months before we actually moved. So that kind of, happened. And then once we moved in, I kind of got sick a lot. And I fell really behind, and it was just made sense to actually hold off on posting any more videos until the rebrand had actually sort of gone live. So that is where I've been basically. So far today I've had a cup of tea and I'm almost finished my lemon water. The reason for that is this is the third time that I have tried to film this video. I'm naturally a rambly, over-communicative person, so these videos have ended up being far too long, so I've had to, just delete them and start again. And also my daughter's been kind of noisy today, so, I've been interrupted a few times. Anyway, let's try and be quick and concise. I'll do my best because it's not my strong suit. I have a bunch of questions on my phone that people have asked about the rebrand, so I thought I would just go through and address them individually. And hopefully answer a question that perhaps you might have had, about what's coming up soon. So before I jump into the questions, I will just answer the question that everyone has on the tip of their tongue, which is, what is the name of your new business? So I am changing brands from Sally Mouth Soap to Soap Cult Australia, and I'm so excited about it because I'll go into it when I answer these questions, but I'm so super excited. So, first question, why are you rebranding? Excellent question. Well, it has been 10 years of Sally Mouth Soaps, and I don't really feel like it represents who I am anymore, what the marketplace is after. It doesn't really resonate with customers so much anymore. And yeah, the name just doesn't reflect where the business has been headed for a long period of time. So that's one of the main reasons why I feel like it's time for a refresh. Next question, didn't you like your last brand? I did for the first 2 to 3 years, and then the name sort of stopped feeling comfortable, and I wasn't really, it was so difficult when you sort of DIY everything yourself. Nothing ever feels cohesive. It just felt really not connected and disjointed and all that kind of stuff. So I sort of grew to not really like the brand's appearance. I wasn't feeling the logo or the color palette or any of that kind of stuff. I found it really hard to post on social media because there was no cohesion. I didn't know what story I was trying to tell because I didn't quite know who Sally Mouth Soaps was and what it was meant to be. So it was really just time to start afresh. What's the inspiration behind the rebrand? Well, I think I've kind of answered that question already, so I might just tell you what the inspiration is behind the look and feel of Soap Cult Australia. So I have done this with Laura from Obscurio & Co, and she is a Brisbane-based graphic designer that is a freaking powerhouse of amazingness, and I am so glad that I work with her on this because I don't think anyone else could have pulled it off to the level that she has. You'll see when I start to switch things over in the next couple of days, and you'll start to see more of the new brand popping through. So basically, she gave me this really in-depth questionnaire that helped me identify a lot of different things about my business and my own personal interests and where I see the brand going and what I want to do for the next 10 years and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, basically she put together this ultimate secret society, cult, witchcraft, cult, gothic vibe brand for me that is not individually any one of those things, but it's taking elements of inspiration from all of them and just creating something new that's really fresh and exciting and that I just absolutely love and vibe with so much. So that's kind of the look and feel. It's not vintagey, it's not heritage, it's more it's more modern, but with taking cues from all of those really cool things. Next question, when is this happening? Well, it was meant to have happened already. It was first meant to have happened in time for Valentine's Day and then in time for Mother's Day. But with a number of things that have happened, obviously, you know, COVID-19 has really disrupted a lot of stuff for a lot of people, myself included, and my health has just not been great since we have been in isolation, you know, 5 to 6 weeks of look at the grays, oh my god, isolation. My daughter hasn't been going to daycare, so that has drastically reduced the amount of work that I can output, you know, each week, because I can't make soap around her, it's not safe. And you know, 3.5-year-olds ask a lot of questions and need a lot from you, so obviously it's very hard to maintain any level of focus when, you know, you've got a small child with you that needs your help. So yeah, it's been delayed. So anyway, it is going to be launching completely flipped over by the start of June. I'm aiming for the 1st of June, but we're going to play it by ear because, yeah, I've got unpredictable health issues. I never quite know when I'm going to get a hormonal migraine or anything like that. And that usually knocks me out for like 3 days. So yeah, that's when it's happening. What will be happening in the lead up to it? So part of the reason why I'm making this video, while we all get cozy with one another and, you know, reconnect after all this time apart, or the first time that you might have met me. Where was I going with that? Yes, after this video goes live, I'm going to begin the process of switching over my social media handles, you know, activating my new PayPal accounts and email addresses and stuff of the name Soap Cult Australia. And then I'm going to be doing like little sneak peeks and basically behind the scenes stuff for the next couple of weeks until we are ready to actually launch completely on the 1st of June, TBC. And I'm going to have to deactivate the website at some stage and then flip that over to the new one, which I've been designing in the background. It's all taken a bit longer than I expected, actually, because I tend to have this incredibly rosy, optimistic idea of what I can achieve in a period of time, and I just always drastically underestimate the amount of time it takes to actually do things. It comes from a good place, but ultimately it's very frustrating because it just takes me so much longer than I think. What was the question? Yeah, when is this happening? Yeah, so pretty much by the start of June we'll be entirely switched over. So don't be alarmed if you start to see, you know, accounts that you've been following of mine previously that all of a sudden don't say Salamar Soaps anymore. It's still me. It'll just be Soap Cult Australia. And then these two questions are kind of similar. What products will you now have, and will your product range be changing? So it'll be changing a significant amount. We're going to be launching with a collection of around about 15 new products, and some of them are products that we have already, but they're just having like a bit of a facelift or a name change or something like that. But there's also a lot of entirely new products that'll be coming out in the first wave, and that's going to form our core range that we will always have in stock. One really big thing that will be changing is, because we are having a core range of stock, we'll no longer be doing the you know, limited collection release, sell out, and then have another collection coming out. So the products won't be changing as often as they have been in the past. It's just not sustainable for me to be able to run the business like that anymore. It just honestly takes so long to write the copy and take the photos, and you know, it's really disappointing when you find something amazing online and then you go to buy it and it's not available because there was only ever 10 of them, and it's like, maybe I don't want to do things like that anymore. I'll make it a bit easier on myself and just, you know, stick to a core range of really, really solid products that I know that you're going to love. But of course, even though we're not going to be doing great big seasonal launches anymore, we will still have a Halloween collection, because that is our biggest time of year. You know, Mother's Day, Christmas, all that stuff, they're not really that big for me, but Halloween is massive. Halloween is where I make the majority of my sales for the year. And I know that my customer base absolutely loves Halloween. So yeah, we'll definitely be doing some things there. So that is largely, you know, what will be changing. Are you discontinuing any products? Yes, and keen eyes will have noticed, if you've been following me for a long period of time, or even just, you know, the last few years, we've slowly started to do less of what we were known for in the very early days. Like when we first started, we did a lot of like creepy cute, you know, foodie type stuff, and, you know, cute little animals, and, you know, really like sort of like gifty type things. And we've just moved away from that because I'm not as passionate about it as I am about other, types of styles. So yeah, it just didn't make sense to continue along that path anymore. So yeah, we're not really doing that much, and I'm kind of discontinuing everything except for 10 products. There's about 10 products that we're making at the moment that we are going to be, putting over into Soap Cult Australia, but maybe not initially. It depends. Like it's a lot of work to get this stuff all up and running. So not every product will be available once we, hit go, but they'll be coming a bit later. This is a fun one. Will you have launch specials? Yes, we will. I've been thinking about this for a long period of time. We will. The majority of them will be available to people that subscribe to my mailing list. That is the best way to keep up to date with anything that is happening with the rebrand or just the business in general. Because you probably know this, but Facebook and Instagram heavily filter what they show you based on your past, viewing habits. So even though I might post regularly, I'm not at the moment, but just say I post regularly, you may only see a post once every 3 months or something, like unless you're actively searching out my account and going and having a look at it. Facebook and Instagram are just like that now, and it's very much pay to play. You can get in front of people if you advertise, but I often don't have the money to advertise. So yeah, mailing list is the best way to keep up to date with that. What was the question? Will you have launch specials? Yeah, so even for the people that are following along on social media and don't want to receive emails, that's totally cool. There'll still be something available for you. So there'll be, a few different things available, but the best stuff will be on the mailing list. Will you have VIP perks? Yes, I am very excited and motivated to create a special VIP group for Soap Cult Australia on Facebook, one of those, special groups. And that'll be the place where you can only there purchase stuff from the crypt or the vault. I haven't decided what I'm going to call it. But basically products that I've made in the past that were, really popular, but don't necessarily fit in with the look and feel of the new brand. Or that are just very difficult to make, or I can only make limited amounts of them. Like some products I make, it's very difficult to make more than 3 to 5 a day. And it can be hard to keep up with orders, especially around like a small child and, my health and all that kind of stuff. That can be kind of tricky. So that'll be the place where there'll be, limited stuff that'll be available for purchase only through that group. And also a place where you can vote on the next, sale or giveaway or what product you'd like to see come back from the crypt and all that sort of stuff. So yes, I will be having a VIP group. How it's all going to happen. So basically from here, after this video has gone live, I'm going to start changing over all of my social media handles. And that will happen like over the next 2 to 4 weeks, because as I'm filming this, it's like the start of May. And by the 1st of June, I hope to be able to switch over completely to Soap Cult Australia. But at some point, the website's going to have to go down for a little bit while I make the final, tweaks and stuff to the new website, because you can't have 2 websites live on the same domain at a time on Shopify. So that's just, the way that it has to be. And then, yeah, hoping to go live by the 1st of June. And there was a few more questions that I've actually kind of already addressed them in other questions, like how can I keep up to date with the launch and what happens now? I've kind of already covered that. There's one very important question that I've left until last because I find it like super triggering to talk about money. And the question is, will you be changing your prices? And the underlying question there is, will your prices be increasing? To which my answer is yes, they will be increasing quite a bit. I've left this question till last because I feel like it needs a lot of detailed explanation. But if this doesn't really interest you too much, you can just completely switch off this video. That's totally fine. You haven't missed out any of the other important information, but it's like important to the point where I've made notes on my phone to answer the question because, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, are you changing your prices? Yes, quite a bit. I'm keeping a few around the same price point that I have at the moment, which is around about $7.95, but the majority of them will be increasing quite a bit by a few dollars from there per item. And so the reason for that is that I wasn't properly taking into account my expenses. I thought I was. I thought that I was properly accounting for everything, but I just wasn't. I didn't quite understand the numbers that I was seeing in my accounting program. And as it turns out, yeah, I'm not covering my basic operating expenses, my raw materials, and my labour within the price point that I have at the moment, which is a concern because I can't run a business like that. So like, just as an example of the kinds of expenses that there are in order to you know, run a business, it's not just the cost of the product. There's a whole bunch of stuff that happens in the background that has to be paid for. So like each month I've got a set amount of expenses just to keep the doors open. So like that might be, let's see, I subscribe to Adobe Lightroom and Canva. I need that to produce, you know, like content. There's also my Shopify account, Xero, which is the account keeping program, you know, my Gmail G Suite. What else was there? I wrote it down. You know, credit card and bank account, like they charge you fees just to have those things. So each month it's around about $160 in expenses before I even make a single sale. So that's what I have to cover. And then annually, it's even more. So annually it works out to be around about $1,000 minimum of the costs that I have just to run a legit business. So like my business registration, my public and products liability insurance, the fees that I need to pay to the government in order to sell soap legally. What else is there? Like domain costs, all those kind of things. Yeah, they're pretty much the main ones. So they're like the annual expenses in order for me to be able to trade. So you can see that there's quite a bit of money that's got to be paid before you've even really like made a proper sale. And then of course there's packaging and labeling costs. You can't just buy like a sheet of label paper. You pretty much have to buy a ream. So you've got materials sitting around that cost you money, but you might, the actual individual cost of a label might be quite modest, but it's the fact that you've got to pay for them all in advance that is the thing. So like cash flow is really tricky with a small business. There's the actual cost of the raw materials, and they can fluctuate too. So that's tricky. Olive oil is particularly well known for that. Coconut oil also fluctuates a fair bit in price. And it's not just the cost of the products, it's not just the cost of the raw materials that have gone into the product that I am trying to sell you. It is the fact that there's those raw materials that I need in order to make future products that have to pretty much always be on hand. So like colorant, fragrance, essential oils, you know, oils and butters, all that kind of stuff that goes, soap base, that goes into making the soap. So I need to have them on hand in order to make future products, because with the majority of my product range, they're made 4 to 5 to 6 weeks in advance. So you can see there's a long lead time before I've got any chance of actually making the money back on the ingredients that I've had to purchase. So that's a level of complication. And I mean the sales fees, like nothing is free, right? So in order for me to make a sale, I've obviously paid for the monthly and the annual and the expenses, and then the raw materials and the packaging and labeling and all that kind of stuff. And then yeah, the sales fees. So Afterpay is probably the most expensive. They really are the most expensive. So like for me, with an average sized order, the fee from Afterpay might be anywhere from like $3 to $7 on average. Zip is a little bit cheaper. PayPal's cheaper again, and then Shop Pay through Shopify, when you use a credit card to pay directly through Shopify, that's the least amount of like fees that I'll get copped. But just like any merchant, if you accept a payment, you are going to get a fee of some sort for that, you know, money handling stuff. That adds up. And another one that's kind of weird that I hadn't actually considered until like just recently, but daycare costs. In order for me to actually make product and run the business, I need to have completely focused time where I don't have a small child running around that might accidentally knock a container of lye solution, oh God forbid, onto her or something like that. So she has to be in daycare. And each week, like, I'm not making enough to cover those daycare costs. The business is not taking in anywhere near enough to cover the daycare costs. And I'm not talking about just profit, I'm talking about revenue. The entirety of the money that I get in before any of the other expenses have come out of it. So, you know, to me that is actually business expense because it's required in order for me to, you know, operate it at all. And then the shipping, I charge flat rate shipping, which is great because it makes it just really simple and easy and transparent for everyone. It does make it easier for me on like a, you know, back end calculating the cost of shipping perspective. And but it's priced so that it covers a small parcel. But the majority of people are quite savvy when it comes to maximizing their shipping costs. So they'll tend to buy like a large amount of soap at a time. So then the extra costs of that that shipping fee then come out of whatever I have received, you know, for that particular order. So you can see how there's just money being taken away, you know, at so many different points of this. And when you're charging $7.95 for a bar of soap, like, you can only keep on taking money away until you're, you know, digging into the ground kind of thing. I mean, finally onto profit, like I'm just not making any. Some months I'm completely in the red, like significantly in the red. And some months I'm making like a very, very modest amount in genuine profit of like, and when I say modest, I mean, you'll be shocked. I mean, like I might come away with $20. Like, I'm not even joking. And that's tricky because I know that in order for a business to become profitable, it's around about 3 years, really. Like if you're consistent and you're dedicated and you've got a good solid product offering and all that kind of stuff, it can be about 3 years before you really start to see any actual profit. So that's ultimately where I would like to be. Like I've had this business for 10 years. I intend to have Soap Cult Australia for, you know, another 10 years or more. Yeah, and I want to be able to have enough money at the end of it to have actually paid the hours that I've put into the business. And I guess I just really want to have a sustainable business. And sustainability is not just how we often think about sustainability with like packaging and the environment and all that kind of stuff. Sustainability is being able to maintain your current trajectory. And my current trajectory is like into the sun to like burn up and die, because I'm not going to be able to continue. I don't have a business at this point in time. I want to have a business, but I actually just have a super expensive hobby that, you know, I spend 40 hours a week on or more. And yeah, I need to charge more. If I want my business to be sustainable, if I want to be here in the next 12 months or even in the next 6 months, I need to make money that somewhat resembles what is enough to actually sustain life. Like at the moment, I can't pay a bill. I can't buy groceries really with the money that I'm getting. In January, my husband took a job with an airline. And now we're having a global pandemic and no one's traveling. And his job is really quite up in the air, and it changes day to day. Like we literally don't know week to week if he's going to be paid for the work that he has just done. And while we are feeling fortunate that at the moment he still does have a job while many people don't, it's just really driven home that I can't rely on him 100% to provide, you know? That's just silliness. It's like the Tower Tarot card, right? all of us globally are going through this profound shake-up where all these structures that we thought were so safe are no longer so safe, and we can't necessarily rely on them. I don't want to be in a place where I can't provide for my family. I don't want to be in a place where I can't pay a bill or put food on the table or anything like that. And I am. That's where I am at the moment. But I know that this business has potential. And I know that I can make it something really, really amazing. To do that, I need the money that will actually cover the operating costs of the business, and at the end of the month, be able to pay me money. To be able to pay me anything more than $20 at the moment would be really awesome. So I hope that answers your question. I hope you can understand all of the layers as to how a product is priced, and you know, what I need in order to actually maintain the business, to be sustainable, to be around, so that I don't have to go out and get another job to live, because yeah, I can't keep on doing the level of work that I'm doing. So I hope that answers your question. I apologize the answer was so long. I find money talk very, very triggering. I've obviously got kind of a money story that I need to work through, or like self-worth stuff, or most women do, don't they? You know what's really funny is that if I was going for an ordinary job and I was being paid by an employer, I wouldn't think to myself, gee, pay me less. Gee, I want to struggle and not be able to pay my bills and not be able to eat. Oh, pay me less. I'm not worth that. But the second we work for ourselves, particularly in like a handmade capacity, I mean, people in services experience this too. You hear it a lot. People are always so reluctant, small business groups, to put up their prices. And it's like, yeah, but you need to live. Money might be evil sometimes, but it's all in the way that you spend it. And I spoke for too long, battery stopped. Yay. So yeah, long story short, I do have to put my prices up. They have been low for a very, very long time, and I understand now that it's not in any way sustainable. I would like this business to actually be a business and not just me playing at business, which is quite literally what I'm doing at the moment, it feels. Oh, my daughter's coming in. Hello.
Hello.
And that looks to be all of the questions. Hooray, we're done. I'm so sorry for the very awkward rambling video. It's been more than 12 months since I've actually hopped behind the camera. So yeah, it's been a little bit tricky to actually answer all the questions and do all the things when you feel intensely nervous and uncomfortable. Just being honest. Well, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you'll be as excited about Soap Cult Australia as you were about Salad Mouth Soaps. And I can't wait to have you with me as we go about this massive shift in our business. And yeah, thanks for being here for the ride. Okay, bye.